Okay. We are approaching the Edmonton West Division Divisional Police Station. I've visited here once before. I might include some little shots or something from that audit yet, I don't know. But I've been here once before, and there were no issues. There were no issues at this location. So we're going to do a quick tour around, take a look at their signs. I found their signs here were a lot less obnoxious than some other places. You can see here it says EPS staff parking only. Okay, fair enough, no code or anything like that, but letting you know that this is private parking. There's also a sign over there, don't know if you can read it. It says private parking, police vehicles only. City of Edmonton, fair enough. You can see it says visitor parking this way. No additional signs. So, but we're just doing a quick tour around just to show you. And indeed, there are no signs saying the things that they try to say at the other locations, claiming private property or anything like that, simply that there's some private parking in the back. So we will not go that direction. This is simply a Police West Divisional Police Station. Okay. Well, let's go check them out. Recorded with bike index. There's a couple people in line, so I'm just going to turn this way.
Excuse me. Are we able to just bring that home? The form?
Yeah, you can take that home if you're unable to get that insurance.
Yeah, we're just across the street, so. Thank you.
See if that's clear to you.
Hi. I was wondering if I could get a copy of the EPS Know Your Rights brochure shipped out. And that's what I need today. Oh, you got them made up already. Fantastic.
There you go.
What about, do you guys carry, do you have pre-made complaint forms? If you have one, I'll grab one, and that's all I got for today. Awesome, you guys are fantastic. That's a witness statement form, same thing? Okay. Okay, awesome. Really appreciate it. Can I get your name and reg number so I know who I spoke to?
3504. Last name Larson, first name.
Awesome. Great job, man. You did a good job today. Appreciate it. So I'm going to take a look at those forms they've given me. I like to not push buttons because I don't see what's the reason. You could tell that guy was not happy about being on camera, but yet he was still respectful. So we're going to go out around the building again. And I'm going to take a closer look at those forms. Okay. So think about how that just went down, guys. Now that is the third station I've walked into. If you remember the first one, if you don't, you can go back and see it in my videos. That was the Northwest campus, a brand new campus that had only opened 3 weeks earlier. Okay, and I had a big problem with the guy. He wouldn't give me his reg number or his name, and told me there was no such thing as a complaint form. Okay, so these guys here have given me a witness statement form, so that's what they're giving you in case that you feel like something has been done to you. That's what they're using as a complaint form. It's not officially a complaint form, but at least they gave me something and had it right there at the counter. So again, that's another positive experience with the West Side. Now let's take a look at the brochure. The reason I wanted the brochure, besides to see whether they were physically carrying it as they're supposed to, since it's a new campaign, was because when I printed this out, it was quite tiny. Let's just make sure that that's correct size. It was printing quite tiny, so you couldn't really read it. So it's still pretty bad, but it's still pretty bad. It's really small print, kind of like when you ask them their reg number and their name and they mumble it. Yeah, it's a. What was that? Oh, my name's Right, like they do that kind of thing. They don't really want you to know your rights. They just want to say that they have the piece of paper there because it makes them look good. But they had that right there up the front counter. Let's see if it's got the Q code. I don't think it does. There is a separate piece that's got the physical Q code on it. I'm just taking a quick look. This one actually, in fact, does. If you open it up, it's got a separate laminated piece with the Q code on it. So if you have problems with the police, you can show that to them. And that Q code, they can scan it on their phone or whatever, and that tells them what their rights and requirements are according to EPS policy. So if you give them that or show them that and they still refuse, you can either give them the brochure or you can continue on. Now, as to whether police officers will murder you or arrest you for putting your hands in your pocket saying, oh, I didn't know if he had a knife or not, well, of course the Edmonton police did not address that. Also, this information is from the Edmonton police. It is absolutely not, I repeat, not 100% accurate. They're pretty good general guidelines, but you should always consult a lawyer. And if you feel anything is suspicious, you should ask for a supervisor. If you absolutely find yourself in a situation where they're actually like arresting you or something, then I would recommend to comply in the moment, because compliance does not mean accepting or agreeing with what they're doing. It's always better to fight your battles later in a courtroom. It also looks a lot better in a courtroom when you complied than if you kick and fight, end up with a bunch of extra charges, get thrown in a tank for the day, and then they use that against you in a court of law. So anyways, this is what you can get, and you can get this at any of the 6 divisional police stations in Edmonton. It's the EPS Know Your Rights campaign. I'm not saying that I had anything to do with this, but I did notice that this happened very shortly after the Hankovich incident, and since then I have not had any violence so far, fingers crossed, knock on wood, whatever, that there has not been any additional violence since that time. They have been behaving themselves, and this is twice now at the West Division. I was a little nervous today. For one thing, I haven't done a lot of cop shops lately, so I'm probably a bit out of practice. But for another thing, this is my first time going into a cop shop since the Ryan Hankovich assault. So that's twice now I've come to the West Division. They have not caused me any problems. Like I say, typical cop behavior. He was pissy that I was there. He didn't like me being there. He was very curt, just give me the information and get me the fuck out of there kind of thing. I could have pushed the buttons by going around the room and videotaping until they said, excuse me, do you have any more business here kind of thing. But that's not necessary for me. My goal was just to come down and see if they had the information and prove to you guys once again that even though yes, you will sometimes come across rogue cops on steroids having a meltdown, like a 5-year-old in a sandbox having a tantrum. Yes, you will sometimes be assaulted. Yes, you will sometimes be falsely arrested. Yes, you will sometimes have to pay for the fight. I got $700 I got to pay for a 2-hour consult with a lawyer just to get the paperwork filed for my suit. And then that's not going to give me any help in the actual courtroom. I still got to do all of that by myself or figure out how to get a lawyer. So it's extremely expensive. If anyone wants to contribute towards that, you can donate to my PayPal link in the banner. But other than that, like, yeah, those things will happen sometimes, but just keep in mind that you absolutely 100% do have a right to film in public, any place that is accessible to the public, any place that is paid for by the public and for the common good of the public. But in particular, if you go to a police station and you get or a city hall, or like a museum, any library, any place that's paid for and owned by a municipality, a province, the federal government, except for legally restricted areas with signs posted, you are allowed to go anywhere as you want. So I just want to make that extra clear to you guys. Don't always take my word. There's been a couple of grumblers in the comments. Sometimes they're ignorant and they don't know the laws. Sometimes they might be from a place where the laws are slightly different, or sometimes I might just say something that's not completely correct. I'm trying to give you guys the gist of the information and missing a fine point or something like that. Always consult your local legal defense or whatever. Consult the Constitution. Canley is a good resource. There's lots of great places you can go. Get the information yourself. Don't take my word for it. Don't take the cop's word or anybody's. Look into it yourself to the best of your ability, and then take other people's advice as just sort of a starting point to look into that. Well, once again, we walked right in and right out of the police station. No issues of any kind whatsoever, except for the guy being a little unhappy looking. I encourage you guys to get your cameras, take them out. Don't be afraid. Don't let anybody intimidate you and tell you can't take pictures in a public place on a fucking public sidewalk. And if they do, just point the camera right at them. Let them know, hey, there's nothing wrong with this. There's no reason to be afraid in constitutionally protected activities in Canada. Pick up a camera and get out there, take some photos, join the movement, and let's make sure that our voices are heard. Unlike the downtown headquarters or the Northwest, this division will not be requiring at this time another audit. This has been the Edmonton West Division Police Station in Edmonton, Alberta. 2 passes so far. Just gonna see what happens. There is a cop car coming out. We'll see if he's turning this way. No, he's coming the other way, looks like. It's 2 passes by the Edmonton West Divisional Police Station. No need to audit this location again, but if you do have any issues with this particular location or an officer from this division, please feel free to contact me and let me know your story. I'm more than happy to look into it, and if we have to come down here again and double check on them, then we'll do so. But at this point in time, I feel like we've got 2 samples. That's reasonable enough for me to say that these guys are behaving themselves. No problems. Good job of the Edmonton West. Made your division look good today. Good job, guys. We'll catch you next time on Film Canada Press. Take care.